In this video, we're going to look at how we can use Google Slides as a tool to help us make an editable PDF. So what you see on my screen is a PDF document that I would like for students to work on. I don't have access to this in Word form or any other format that's editable, but I want students to be able to write their answers in here, fill in this table. I also notice there's a graph that I want them to be able to complete. So I want them to have the ability to interact with all of these things. And we're going to use Google Slides as a tool for that, because I know I can deploy a Google Slides assignment via Canvas that every student can then complete and turn in. So the first step is to open whatever PDF file it is that you want to have students use. And I'm open this in Adobe Acrobat on my computer. And I'm going to go to the File menu and click Export to, and I can export this to an image file. And I'm going to choose the image type PNG. When I export this, it is going to ask me where I'd like to save the image file, and it's going to save every page of this PDF as a different image file. So this is a 13-page PDF. It's going to save 13 image files for each page. Now that I've exported my PDF as an image file, I need to use that image to become the background of Google Slides. By making the image a background of Google Slides, students will be able to type in text boxes, use drawing tools, and all sorts of things to interact with this worksheet. So I'm going to go to some Google Slides that I have here. And I'm going to get rid of some of the stuff that's in the way. I'm going to right-click on this slide and choose Apply Layout Blank. So I'm starting with a blank slate. And then I want this to be the same size as the document. And we know a traditional sheet of paper is 8.5 by 11 inches. So I'm going to go into File, Page Setup, make custom dimensions, and I'm going to use 8.5 by 11 inches. Now my slide is the same size as the sheet of paper. By right-clicking on the slide, I have the option to change the background of this slide. For my purposes, I want students to use the first 3 pages of that PDF. So I'm going to change the background, choose image, and I'm going to go into my computer to where all of those individual page files were saved. And you can see that they're all labeled page 1, page 2, and so on. So I'm going to make page 1 the background. I'm not going to click add to theme. That's going to add it to every slide. I'm just going to click done so that it affects this one slide. And I'm going to insert a new slide for every page that I would like to have of this worksheet. I'm going to change the background, choose page 2, click done. I noticed that I didn't make this a blank slide beforehand, so I'm going to right click again, apply layout, and choose blank to get rid of those extra text boxes. Now that I have all 3 of those pages in here, I have a few options. I can go ahead and assign it to my students. If my students are very comfortable and confident with all of the tools in Google Docs, they can get this worksheet, they can maybe zoom in on it and create their own text boxes to put their name, to put their answer choices and things like that. If some students might need a little bit more guidance about where to type and what sorts of tools to use, I can go ahead and preload some of these text boxes in here before I start. So this text box, I might say type here. And maybe I want all of what students type to be in blue so it stands out a little bit. And now I can create a copy of this text box and then move it to wherever I need. So a quick trick with Google Slides, if you use Control-D, you can duplicate that text box. And now I'm going to add one here and resize it so that there's some space. I'm going to Control-D again and continue to put text boxes for students to type in. When I get to the table, I can also insert a table. for students to type in. Students can do this on their own as well, but I can put as much in as I want at the beginning to help guide them with where they should be typing. When we get to the second page here, I could put in some instructions for what tools students might use to graph. They can use the line tool. They can also use a scribble tool to just do a sketch. And they have all sorts of settings that they can use while they're interacting with this. Once I have this all ready to go, and I've embedded all of those background images, and I put in whatever supporting text boxes I want for students to be able to type in, I'm going to name my assignment, and maybe I'll call this Linear Study Guide. And now I'm ready to deploy this assignment through Canvas.